Yeah, we're talking about one of my favourite franchises, movie franchises ever, which is Critters. There's a lot of people that, when I bring up Critters, they just like...
What's that? What is it?
And I explain to them it's kind of like, you know, about these fur balls with teeth that want to eat you. They come from outer space and they want to eat everything in sight. The first film to come out is the year I was born, 1986, Critters, directed by Stephen Herrick. I think this film is woefully underrated when it comes to science fiction. You know, it's a creature feature first, but I think the science fiction element is woefully underappreciated. I think it's a great sci-fi film, and it happens also to be a great creature feature. I just think everything about it is fantastic. I love the whole shenanigans of the bounty hunters where they're trying to find the Krites and they're just causing absolute crazy mayhem. It's just fun, man. This film's fun. I've spoken about this on my channel before, but yeah, the Krites, the critters, like, they're just the most adorable things ever. Like, I think they're just adorable. I love them to pieces. Yeah, I just think this film's just really good. Like, it's one of those films that I can go back to time and time again and absolutely just, you know, have a great time. I feel it's a film that everyone needs to check out and everyone should watch. I think it's just so entertaining, so enjoyable. I will put this film on time and time again. I think it's fantastic, and I think, you know, if anybody is watching this and are kind of unknown to the Critters franchise, go and hunt them down. Go and hunt down the Blu-rays. These Blu-rays I have here are Spanish imports because you can't get them on Blu-ray in the UK, which sucks. But anyway, Critters 1. It's fantastic. It's the best in the franchise. I love it to pieces. Go watch it. In 1988, we had Critters 2. It does everything that a sequel kind of needs to do, in my opinion. They had a bigger budget. They upped the ante. It kind of goes that Aliens mentality, where it goes from Alien with one alien to Aliens with a massive hive full of aliens. Critters 2 goes from Critters with 8 Krites, I do believe I got that correct. It goes from having 8 Krites to Critters 2, where you have hundreds of them. And I think it does a wonderful job of, like, you know, upping the ante with the sequel, which I feel sequels of this ilk need to do. And in all fairness, like, I love the first movie, but I do feel Critters 2 is a superior film in the way that it kind of just it gives me more of what I loved in Critters 1, and it just makes it even more crazier in Critters 2. It's really cheesy. There's some really cringe moments in it, but it's an 80s monster movie. That's why we love them, isn't it? Right? That's my opinion anyway. But yeah, I think Critters 2 is really good. It brings back Bradley Brown, the young kid from the first movie, and it brings back Charlie, the drunk that believed they're coming. He's back, and it's just really fun. So I just think it's a really fun sequel. I don't think we're going to top the first 2 films. 1 and 2 are the ones to 100% definitely watch. Next up, obviously, is Critters 3. Critters 3 has a really soft spot in my heart because it was the first Critters film I watched. I was about maybe 8 years old. Way too young to watch a Critters film, I know, but I remember being at my cousin's house and he had it on VHS and he was like, "Oh, Jason, put this on, it's really fun." And I remember being really scared of the Critteroonies. This one's more guilty of having the DNA of Gremlins in it because it has those montages of just the critters going just crazy and causing havoc, which Gremlins is very famous for. But I think this film is woefully underrated in just within the Critters franchise, because I know there's a lot of people that don't like this movie. I do say in jest that I'm probably the biggest fan of Critters 3 in the world, because I don't know if there's anyone that actually loves this film as much as I do. But you know, it's one of those films that because I saw it so young, it's got this nostalgic just tie in my heart, and I love it so much that I just get a good kick out of this film every time I put it on. It's not the perfect film by any means, and it's not like a great sequel. I think where it fails is that, unlike Critters 2, where Critters 2 ups the ante and makes it crazy, you know, more critters, more Krites, fucking go crazy. I think this one makes the mistake of stepping back and having it in one location in this one high-rise building with only a handful of Krites. I think that's a mistake with this film. I think Critters 2 had the right idea of upping the ante and having hundreds of Krites. The franchise should have kept upping the ante, but this one didn't. I think that's what kind of fails it. In that regard. But I still love it. I still put it on every time, from time to time. I love it so much. I think it's dumb, and I think it's a lot of fun. People say it's a bad film. I don't think it's a bad film. I think it's okay, but it just serves that nostalgic. My inner child in me just tugs at those heartstrings. So yeah, Critters 3, is such a fun one for me. I love it to pieces. Critters 4 is funny because when you get this far into your franchise, people go like, "Oh, this is going into space." Ironically, this one goes into space, but it's not as ridiculous as you would expect, because where the Krites are from space, this was probably the only really next step that they could really take with the franchise. The problem I have with this movie is barely a Critters film, because they don't even turn up until maybe about an hour into the movie, and that's the problem with this film, is that it is woefully dull. I'm just so bored with this film. I've got it in the collection because I had to have it in the collection, but I'm never gonna fucking watch it. I'm never gonna watch it. It's the worst. Yeah, this is the worst film in the franchise for me. I don't think it has the only redeeming factor that this film has. It has Brad Dourif in it, and he's probably the best actor that they've had in the entire franchise, in my opinion. The storyline is garbage. The way they kind of end characters is quite insulting when it concerns the fan base. And yeah, like I said, the Critters are barely in it. When they turn up, there's only like 2 of them, and it's just not a good film. And if there was any film in the franchise to skip, it'd be Critters 4. Don't waste your time. 2019, we got Critters Attack, which is the fifth film in the franchise. Nowhere near as bad as I was expecting. I was expecting this was going to be a TV movie. However, it does suffer from a TV kind of budget. I had a lot of fun with this film. As simple and basic as it is, and how clearly it's made for television, I had a lot of fun with it. The only thing I find a bit wrong with this film is that there's loads of these points in the film where there's a lot of unresolved plot threads that really kind of hurt the film, and I feel that we get a lot of kills in this. Like, I think this has probably one of the highest, one of the highest death counts in a Critters film, but a lot of it is cutaways, or the camera's facing somewhere else and you just get a splatter of blood coming up. The kills are very, very uninspired, and most of them are not on camera, which is really, really disappointing. I still think it's a lot of fun. If you take it away from the actual original 4 films, it is a lot of fun. I think it's way better than Critters 4, way better. But yeah, I think it suffers from its TV budget. But yeah, Critters Attack is alright. And finally, we got I think it came out before this. I forget when it came out, but we had the web series Critters: A New Binge. Now, Critters: New Binge, it got basically destroyed in the comments. When that trailer came out, people did not like what they were seeing. Now, I've gone on record where on my first watch, I really didn't like this web series. Really didn't like it. But on the second watch, it is really, really dumb and really entertaining. And I just think it's just fun. I think the critters look cool. I did like the whole they tried to build this kind of society with the Krites, and made it so like there is actually an intelligent, they are an intelligent life form. They have this society, they have leaders, and they have a president and stuff like that. It's a bit ridiculous, but I think it's just fun. The final 2 episodes, the revelation in the final 2 episodes, is absolutely batshit fucking crazy. And I didn't necessarily enjoy the tone of Critters: New Binge. I feel they went a bit too comedic, but I digress. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think I enjoyed New Binge more than Attack, and I think it's better than 4. So that's how I feel it. Yeah. So yeah, Critters: New Binge is a fun watch if you can pull yourself away from your expectations of a Critters property. I think it's a bold, kind of tongue-in-cheek web series that is a bit of fun, and that's what I think it is. That is my thoughts on Critters. I think it's a franchise that everyone should check out, except for 4. 4's shit. But yeah, Critters 1 and 2, 100% check them out. They're great movies. I really feel that the first Critters is a film that is so basically unknown that it could do with a really good high budget rated R kind of violent as all hell remake in more of a horror style. Thank you so much. It's been a blast. Anyway, see you later.